Hi and welcome to RCKicks. On today's show, it's a bit of a mixed bag. I want to talk to you about the new thing that's coming out about children watching YouTube, and is it going to be a complete disaster for RC cars and RC channels? Also, I have in this box something that people have been hounding me to get for a while, and it's funny because there's a few cars that I get asked, when you getting this car? When you getting this car? When you getting this car? This is one of those cars. I actually built one of these cars back in the day for someone who paid me a few pounds to build it for them. They had two because they were twins, and I said I would build one for them and someone else built the other one for them because I just couldn't face building two of them back to back when I was younger. I wasn't overly into this car. It was okay. It was, you know, it was four-wheel drive and this kind of stuff, but for some reason I didn't really like it. But quite a few of you have been hounding me to at least add one of these. And also there's a couple of RC channels, one in particular in Australia, I'll put a link below, who I watch, who is a big fan of these, and he's got loads of them. And he did a really good video about what to look for, what to buy, and that kind of thing. So I took his advice, since a lot of you have been hounding me to get one of these. So I watched his video, and it was really good, explaining where the weaknesses on this chassis and things like that. Because that's the thing, every time you get into a new car, you don't know all its quirks and what fails and all that kind of stuff, and what the history is and what versions, and it takes time for you as you get a new car to actually learn about the car and what to look for and what not to look for. So if someone does a video for you, it really helps. And I used his video for this because there's quite a few of these different iterations, different bodies and things like that. Different price points and where the weaknesses are and stuff like that. So I did that, and I've got some parts waiting for this car to go on. Now you might say, well, you're Gavin, you're unboxing a lot of cars lately. There's a plan, and the plan is this, that basically coming up to Christmas, I've got 3 weeks off work, pretty much just short of 3 weeks off for Christmas. So I want to have lots of projects so that once I break up for Christmas, I can crack on and get loads of content done. So I've got new inbox kits to build, but also lots of restoration projects. But the thing you have to be careful of, which you don't really think about when you're just building these for yourself, is I need to have all the parts lined up before I build one. If I don't have a part to do the first two parts of a build and then stop because I have to wait 3 weeks for a part to come, it doesn't really work. So I'm gathering parts, and there's kits that you can see around that are sitting there not quite done. There's this one, which is a King Cab. Then you've got my Dynastorm. Then you've got a Vanquish. What else have you got that needs to be built? The body for this, the Dyna Blaster. So I've got a few projects lined up, and I'm getting all the parts in so that when I actually go, right, we're going to do this one, I've got everything I need to do it. I've got all the parts that are difficult to find, the paints in, I've got the decals available, I've got the electronics to go in it, all these kind of things I need to line up. So that's kind of what I've been doing. So I've got lots of parts for each car and some bits coming in. And this is also one of those cars. This is a small project because I think this car is actually in really good condition, but it's not finished. It does need a little bit of work. So that's why, as well as I've got a few other new inbox brand new cars that are coming. So I'm kind of lining everything up so I have lots of potential content to create. Also, some super big news for the channel. From January the 6th, I am only going 3 days a week. I'm currently full-time, but I'll be going 3 days a week from January, which allow me to invest 2 days a week into this channel. What does that mean? That means I'll be able to bring much more content and much more regular content. And also there's lots of other bits and pieces that takes a lot more time for me to do that I can't do because my current job that I do takes up lots of my time. I don't work 9 to 5. I do a lot of traveling, which takes up a lot of evenings and things like that. And my work continually rolls, so I have to check emails and I have to prep for travel the next day, and then I'm all over the place, which makes it very difficult. So by going part-time, it will give me much more time to balance my work, my YouTube channel, and my life. So, but I want to produce more content, not just 2 to 3 videos a week, but I want to be putting out a lot more, and a lot more in-depth things as well. And there's a lot of bigger stuff that's difficult for me to do in the short periods of time that I have. So there's a lot coming for the channel. So hit that subscribe button, hit the bell, because if you don't hit the bell, you might miss out on everything. So there we go. So shall we open this car up? It's just a bit random. This video is going to be a bit all over the place, but shall we open this up? And while I'm opening this up, let's talk about what's happening to YouTube and this whole children watching nightmare mess that they seem to have gotten into with this whole American court case thing. So first thing I need is something to open the box with. Now, a lot of people have probably seen this, quite a few videos come out. Tamiya Legends has put out a video, I'll put a link in the description, about what he thinks and what's going to happen and stuff like that. Now, I've watched a few videos and I've read a few books, read a few articles and stuff like that, and it's very vague, and that's the problem. It's super vague. Basically, eBay just wants to shunt it back to the creators, and the creators are like, well, what are the rules? What exactly is going on? And I've watched the YouTube creators videos, and they're even more vague. Basically, they're saying anything, it's kind of anything that children might be interested in is focused towards children. I mean, Jesus Christ, I mean, how vague can you be? You know, children are interested in everything. That's the whole point of being a child, isn't it? You're interested in everything. But looking more close to sort of like my channel, his channel, and other RC channels, we have no children. My main demographic is exactly like Tamiya Legends, is the sort of 30 to 50 year olds. But does this mean that this, you know, this is still something that some children that maybe 12 or 13 might be interested? Possibly, you know. So there's lots of like randomness. I mean, what are kids into? Everything. That's the whole point of being a child, right? So what does that mean? Do you know, have to go, no, this is an 18 channel, that's it? Do I have to get beers out? Do I have to sit here drinking beers and then throw in a few swear words? How does it work? So I kind of thought, well, what am I going to do myself? Well, the only thing I can think of is I'll put at the beginning of a video, this video is only for 18 years old. Anybody below 18 should not be watching this video. And then that's my warning that this isn't for children. But I don't put anything that I think is offensive to children. I don't swear on my channel. So is it wrong that a child can't watch this? Well, so it's a complete mess. Also, you could say, well, it's a toy. Well, we've always had that debate about, is it a toy or not? Well, I'm pretty sure a 12-year-old is not going to have one of these, or the 100-mile-an-hour straight out of the box kits. So it's such a blurry mess. But it depends. You know, you could go, oh well, this is a kid's one. So this one is a, you know, a cheap like toy grade. So when I talk about this, it has to be for children, whereas if I talk about this, it's not. How does that work? It makes no sense whatsoever. So I don't know. The only thing I can think of, like I said before, is I'll put a warning at the beginning. If that's not enough, maybe I'll have to adult up the channel a little bit. Well, you know, have a few beers, use a few swear words. We see, that sounds crazy, right? But the only other thing that worries me a lot is in America, everyone's suing everybody for everything in America. So how does that work? Is it going to, like, you know, am I going to get a letter from the post that someone thinks that this channel should be deemed for children? Well, obviously going by my demographic that I get from YouTube, that's not the case. So yeah, it's a real mess. Personally, I think YouTube should turn around and go, you should tick a box that your channel is 16 or over, 18 or over, something like that, and we tick it, and that's it. And then anybody who uses YouTube that logs on that is has shown up as, I don't even know how they know their children, don't you? Under 13, can you even have a YouTube channel? A YouTube like login? I don't know. So it's definitely 18 and it gets treated that way. You know, I mean, it should be done from the website, really, that we should be allowed to. Now, we've just been told we're supposed to tick what our content is, but they're so vague as what the content is to be for, that doesn't make any sense either. So obviously I tick, like everyone else, that mine's not for children. And it isn't really for children. Why would a 13-year-old want to listen to me rabbiting on? I'm still quite surprised that anybody, you guys, actually listen to me rabbiting on anyway. So, yeah, bit of a weird one. I'm sure there'll be more to come on this. I hope it's not to the point where we all have to go, well, some child somewhere might be interested in this channel, so we have to tick all our videos that, because there's also some massive ramifications for the whole, they can't advertise, you can't talk, you can't comment, you can't do like, you can't share, you can't download for later, you can't do, basically if you tick it for children, it's absolutely stuffed. It stuffs your channel. I don't know how you would grow, which is kind of crazy because you think about it. The idea originally is to protect children from YouTube, but basically you're going to remove all children's content from YouTube. So then what you're saying, well, why don't you just ban all children? Because who's going to make content that can't share or can't even recoup any of their effort from? Yeah, so are we going to end up with nothing on YouTube for children? I don't know. It's a complete disaster. But then it's usually what happens when legislation comes in from governments and stuff like that. It usually is a complete mess. So it's watch this space. I mean, I can diversify my channel a little bit. I've got lots of different hobbies and stuff like that. But yeah. Anyway, so there you go. Sorry, I kind of go off on a bit of a tangent, but I don't really know what more to do apart from putting a warning at the beginning of my videos saying don't watch this if you're not 18 or under. What else can you do? I don't quite understand. So there we go. But I'm not panicking too much about it. You know, it's very easy to jump on the bandwagon and go, YouTube's finished. Let's wait and see. Let's wait and see. Would I change to a different medium if YouTube turns out to be a pain? Well, yeah. The problem you've got though is I could host my own videos on my own server if I wanted to. You know, I could set up a server but then it's how many people can I reach? So there's that. Also, if you, I'll take it for instance, if you jump to another format, say something else comes up, they're obviously going to have to meet the same requirements, but then maybe they might do it in a better way that you just tick your channel as 18 or over and that's enough, it's covered. I don't know. YouTube will sort their lives out. I mean, YouTube has always been known as being a bit clumsy, but otherwise they're basically going to kill their business. So here's the first thing. So there you go. What do you think? Comment below. I mean, it's a bit of a weird one. But YouTube got sued for a shed load of money, so they've got to protect themselves, which is understandable. But they want to pass it all on to people like us, me, you know, and then we can get fined some insane amount of money if someone randomly thinks that, you know, my content is actually for children. So here's the first bit. I'm pretty sure you know what it is by now. So that is an original body. I was hoping that I could just paint it, and it's looking like I should probably just about get away with that as original body with original stickers. I can just paint it up, give it a good clean, and hopefully that's going to be good enough. It's got a bit of a scratch, but I think that should spray up okay. It wasn't cut out the best, but I think I can sand it down a little bit and I'll have original body. So the car hasn't done a lot from what I can see on the videos. See, this is how you pack. Look at these puppies. They look loads of bubble wrap. That's how you do it. It'll turn out looking at it and it'll be broken, won't it? I sent back the Striker car. Haven't been paid for it yet though, so I'm hoping it will arrive soon and I can get my money back from that point of view. And I've got a few other bits and pieces coming. So let's have a look. So this car should be in pretty good nick, because I've got quite a few projects and I didn't want. I've got enough big projects. I'm not looking for total restoration jobs really. I've got enough of those to do. So just light. Oh yeah, this is going to be very good. So there we go. So it's actually in very clean condition. Doesn't need for much. I'll have to get some servos. The underside. The new bumper. So it's actually really clean. So I'm really chuffed with it because obviously there's quite a few of these you can get. Different shells and different version and upgrades and bits and pieces. But I thought the first one I want to get is a decent one. I've seen a lot of ragtag ones floating around, but since I've never worked on this chassis and I don't know a great deal about it, I thought I would get a good one first, and then if I'm going to restore some later ones, because I'd like to have a couple of these. Gearboxes are lovely and smooth. So there we go. So this looks like it was just a shelf queen from the beginning really. Didn't paint the body up. Some people do this style, don't they, where they put the stickers on but they don't paint the body to show it off, and then they just sort of have it on the shelf kind of thing. I actually like to paint my cars. I'm not a big fan. I mean, it shows all the workings and everything, which is kind of cool. I think if I was going to do like a car to show off the internals, I think what I would do is I'd actually mask down the middle and just paint half. Then I would leave the other half like this, so you can see it, so it's kind of like a cut in half car. I also would like to do, I've seen Tamiya have done it, where they kind of cut sections out, and then they where they cut it out, they put like a yellow bit around the actual thickness of things, so like it cuts out a gearbox and stuff. That's a lot harder than it looks, because you've got to cut enough out so you can see what's inside, but it's got to be structurally okay. So the wheels and tyres, I think they've been replaced at some point. I don't know, it's difficult to say. It does look very unmolested. All the screws look like they've been put in once and not. You get used to how a car looks and feels when you get it, whether it's been messed around with or chopped bits and pieces have been added and taken out. And consistency, classic example was on a car like this would be the bumper's really scratched, and then the chassis is really scratched, but this back section's like nowhere near as scratched as the others, so you know there's been some sort of something's been changed. Or like this is brand new and these are all scratched, so you know it's had a new chassis. And then the screws tell a tale. If you keep taking and undoing the screws 2 or 3 times, they start to look a bit dog-eared. But yeah, I can't say I'm overly sold on the body. There's a few nicer bodies, but it's funny because in person, the same with the Striker. I look at this and it's not as horrendous as sometimes you see it in the pictures. The Striker looked ugly as sin, but in real life it wasn't that bad. And I must admit, looking at this now, it doesn't look as bad as the photos. So yeah, I'm quite happy with that. And it's one of my nice cars that I've actually got recently. A few of the other cars I've got have been quite rare cars, like this one and the Dyna Blaster. So parts are just so difficult to find. King cabs, oh my god, the parts is so difficult to get. I've been slowly replacing bits and pieces. I managed to pick up some new rims. Can't find any tyres, but the underside is looking super special now. I've cleaned it all up. The chassis is original, but I've managed to change all the bumpers and things like that. So this is looking pretty nice. Good paint job, and it will be a long way down the road. Set of new front tyres would be nice, but that's coming along. But it takes time. I'll do a video on the painting of the body, but that one I've kind of just bumbled along as and when I found stuff. Now this I'll post a link to a video of me unboxing it. Now I've got a whole new chassis and stuff like that, but one thing that I found when I opened it up was it's pink, it's not red. So I've actually sourced for this brand new decals. Yeah, but I've got some, they're coming. Yeah, they were a bit ouch, it was a bit painful, but I've got some new decals coming, and I've managed to source a body for this, and it's coming as well. And I was worried that I wasn't going to get this body until some fantastic RCKicks viewer said, you do know that's on another truck, and it's a Stadium Thunder, I think it is, uses the same body. So I thought, fantastic, because the Stadium Thunder, I think it is Stadium Thunder, there's a lot more of them and they were a lot re-read, whereas this one they've never re-read. So I was like, oh fantastic, I might be able to get a body. And I couldn't get a body. I can get a car, I can get a whole kit, but I'm not buying a whole kit just for a body. It's an expensive way of doing it. So I jumped on Facebook and I went to the Facebook page, and I posted on there, has anyone got one? And sure enough, fantastic guy replied to me saying, yeah, I've got one. Do you want to buy it? So I was like, yeah, great. So it's coming as well. So I'll do a whole video where I change the chassis and repaint the body. This body's going to take a bit of work. It's not as easy as it looks, because you've got to mask off this section and then the black section, and then you've got to paint this side, and then it's different at the back and the front. So there's actually a reasonable amount of painting going on. You got what, 1, 2, 3, 4 colours before you even do all the decals. So it's going to take a while, but I should end up with a mint Dynablaster. So, and that is my goal for a lot of the very rare cars, is to get them absolutely mint. So that's the plan for that. So I told you this video was going to be a bit all over the place. So there's a lot coming. Also, my grasshopper that I did that speed video, I'll post a link up to the speed video up there. I've got suspension coming for it. There was some really nice copper suspension that someone I saw on one of the forums had bought, and then I stumbled across it on the on eBay, I think it was, and it's from China, and they do loads of bits of copper bits and pieces for it, but really I wanted to be sympathetic. So there's a very famous photograph of this car, and it's on the cover of a book, and on the book it's got gold wheels and the driver has silver body, and I like that really retro look. So I thought, I'm going to paint these gold to match that, but I'm also not gold, paint them copper. I've got some copper paint to match, but then I thought having the little bits of suspension in copper as well, it'll be a real nice little soft touch. So that is going to get a little bit of mod, only small, very gentle mod, and a bit of a tipping their cap to that very famous photograph. I'll find one and I'll post it up here somewhere to show you, as well as I'm going to change the motor for something a little bit more nippy. So there's quite a bit that's coming from that point of view, as well as I'm going to paint this shell. I think the shell should come up quite nice. I think I'll paint this shell first, and then I'll see if I'm happy with it. If I am happy with it, then I won't replace it for an aftermarket one. I'll just stick with what it's got. I mean, it wasn't cut out the best, but I think I can do something to improve it. It's quite angular as well, so I might be able to do something with it. So there you go. So yeah, a nice car, nice find, this one. It's quite an honest car, and it looks in fantastic condition, so I'm well chuffed with that. and nothing seems to be broken. The front usually it has a few issues with screws. When you screw them up, they actually crack. But this one looks fantastic. I've got replacement parts if needed. I did buy them ahead of time. One thing in the video that I watched was that to buy these certain parts tree. So as soon as I watched his video, I jumped on and I bought those parts tree so that I've got one, because this won't be my my last one of these. But also the bumper was really good, which was another thing he said. Getting the bumper is actually very difficult. So there you go. So another project comes. So roll on Christmas, and next year we're gonna have, it's gonna be a fun year. The channel's gonna hopefully get a lot more content, and I'll have more time to do things a bit more properly, because a lot of the videos I do for you guys is very much trying to cram it in so that I can actually get something to you, and I'd like to put out way more videos than I do currently. Anyway, I'll stop waffling on because that's been quite a while. So there you go. Thanks very much. Please like and subscribe, and comment below what you think about the car, any of the projects, and also this kind of strange thing that's going on with the whole kids watching YouTube thing. All right, take it easy, and I will see you on the next one. Bye bye.